I don't Google anymore, I TikTok. This tweet went viral and has sparked off a debate as to whether you should be using Google or TikTok as a search engine. I've seen this trend building for a while now, as Gen Z seem to trust TikTok way more than Google, and in some ways I can't really blame them. If I search Google for stuff to do in Scotland, this is the results I get. They're either promoted posts or websites that have paid enough from an SEO company to appear on the first page of Google. After all, as the old saying goes, the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google. This is why so many brands, businesses and companies pay millions of pounds, sometimes billions, to appear on the first page of Google. Whereas if I search for stuff to do in Scotland on TikTok, this is the results I get. The results almost certainly will vary, as all of our search results are custom to ourselves. So instead of it being the brand that has the most money that we all see, it's the people or the businesses that have put the most time and effort into creating content that most resonates with us.
Okay, so this TikToker by the name of Simon Kane Was Taken points out a really interesting trend that is happening right now. Apparently, there are a lot of younger folks who are searching things on TikTok instead of searching them on Google. Now, this might sound strange. You could be like, why would you search something on TikTok for information? You have no idea what you're gonna get. But the reality they point out is actually something that's really important, which is when you Google search a lot of common phrases, you will very often get a lot of businesses. And you'll get a lot of businesses that have spent a lot of money trying to be the top result on Google. Now, there's an obvious problem with this, especially when you consider that Google makes a lot of money off of advertisements, for example. Google actively has this business incentive to support the businesses that are buying advertisements on their platform. And that incentive means that the results are not necessarily going to be the best results, but they might be the most expensive results, so to speak. And that reality has made Google a lot less useful of a tool because it reflects more business interests than it does users' interests. And with TikTok, it's a little bit different. Now, there's also a format issue where sometimes getting a 1 to 3 minute video is just what you want because you feel like you're going to get a better answer with pictures and explanation from somebody that you think is reputable. But there's also an algorithmic reason why people might want to do it. They might want to go to an information source that has a lot of social clout, right? That is to say, there are a lot of people that watch the video, that have liked the video, and they think that it's a good thing. And so that is why it's going to improve the search results with TikTok as opposed to Google. Now, Google originally did something similar in terms of not viewership of websites, but the amount of other websites that link to it, but it's not quite the same. So there are obviously problems that exist with both algorithms, and no matter what platform you're searching on, there's going to be this issue of what is the core algorithm, the fact that you as the user really don't have control over it. But it's really interesting to see people shifting towards TikTok as a search engine, or at very least younger people, because the results they're getting are more community-based as opposed to being more reflective of business interest. Now, this all, of course, might be bound to change depending on however TikTok decides to change its algorithm. But it also raises a larger question about big tech platforms like this altogether, because the question is, should there be a search engine that is just a public utility? Should there be a search engine that is not reflective of business interests and isn't entirely reliant on random people on the internet liking a video or not? This raises a really important question about big tech and the role that they play. A lot of people are demanding transparency in algorithms. There's obviously a concern for misinformation that might spread on TikTok because what is popular is not always necessarily true. But then there's also the issue of what is profitable is not necessarily always true, and the bias that comes with a platform that provides search results based off of business interests. These things raise very serious questions, especially considering who owns this and whether or not there's any transparency. Now, my personal bias is that I think there should be some type of government platform so that it's democratically decided upon and the algorithms are transparent, but it could also be just an open source platform that's government subsidized and people could plug in any algorithm that they want. But at the end of the day, though, it's just important to remember that whatever platform you're searching on is going to have some type of bias, and that bias is going to be reflected in the algorithms that run it. And for Google, it's pretty clear. Google is going to be biased to the interests that are most profitable for it, which basically means advertiser. TikTok, on the other hand, works a little bit differently. And so the algorithm is really gonna feed you like the most viral content. It's gonna feed you what has like the most amount of viewership, what's the most likely to get you to watch more videos, which might mean that you're gonna get the most extreme version of something as opposed to the most profitable version of something. And understanding the biases of different algorithms is really critical in this day and age. I think this trend of a lot of younger people searching things on TikTok as opposed to Google is really just revealing the reality that a lot of people are hungry for something different. That there are people who are trying to break out of one algorithm or another.
This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Young Turks Twitch channel, and you can follow me at Benjamin Carollo on Twitter.